So you may be thinking, this is all very interesting. It's a new and unique way to process data in a decentralized way. But how is this useful? Here we'll take a moment for an overview of some real-world business scenarios and use cases where blockchain can and is providing real value to enterprises. So we'll get to some specific examples in just a moment, but before we do, let's build out a process for how to methodically decide when a situation is a good candidate for a blockchain solution. Yes, we can take Long Island iced tea and make it blockchain iced tea. But as these hype cycles come to a close, it will be valuable for you to be able to sift through the noise and identify ideas and projects with legitimate long-term viability and traction. And this can also be helpful in considering whether blockchain is the right tool for your own project or business. So first things first, we should consider, do we need a database? And does that database need to be shared? If not, then there's certainly no compelling need to try to adopt blockchain to this business. And when we say database, it's also worth mentioning to consider whether your data needs lend themselves to the form of a ledger. Some enterprises may have sophisticated data warehousing operations and needs, but if transaction history is not a priority, blockchain is going to be limited in its value versus other forms of, say, distributed databases. So if we've established that we do need a shared database, the next consideration might be the users or participants of this database. Do we intend that we will know everyone accessing the data? Are they trusted? Even if we would say they are trusted, are their incentives aligned? It's important to consider how business relationships may evolve over time and through intercompany or internal changes. If all parties are known, trusted, and aligned, say all employees of a single company, then it's unlikely this scenario will bring out the full benefit of blockchain. But when parties are unknown or there is friction in the trust or incentive alignments between the participants, blockchain is still a route to consider. At this point, the final question before blockchain adoption would simply be, is there a trusted third-party intermediary whose services all participants are happy with? If an intermediary is providing the desired access and efficiencies needed to run your business processes, then blockchain may not be necessary. But here it's again useful to point out that business relationships evolve over time. The rates and service levels you receive today might not be what you receive in the future, particularly as your intermediary's business changes and especially if its incentives change. So at this point, if we determine there is not a trusted and reasonably efficient intermediary, then we're likely looking at a scenario where blockchain does bring business value. As we discussed previously, the decision between adopting a permissionless open network solution versus implementing a permission blockchain will come down to whether it's intended that the participants in the network will be known and trusted parties, whether there will be access controls in place dictating who can join the network, and how actual transactions will be validated via consensus. This is certainly not an exhaustive list, and there are many business considerations to take into account when assessing feasibility of blockchain solutions. But this hopefully provides a concept of how to approach this decision in a methodical way. Blockchain is certainly not a one-size-fits-all solution or a panacea for all business problems, and it pays to know when it's likely to be the right choice versus when it's not.